Dr. Lisa Wiedeman, carnivore doctor, the carnivore doctor. Hello.
Hi, Emily. So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I am so glad that you tagged that name, the at carnivore doctor, because now there's tons of doctors and you are the original.
Yeah, so I found this, I found my way back in 2009. And so, yeah, 16 years ago, I've been basically eating meat, seafood, and eggs. And I just felt the need to speak out. 'Cause let's say I was about 10, 11 years into it, and I kind of just went about my life, you know, talking to people throughout the that time period, but not everybody wanted to hear this crazy thing here. And then when I saw, it all kind of exploded when Dr. Sean Baker went on Joe Rogan, and then Michaela Peterson was speaking out about it more and more. And then I would read in the comments, and people would say, well, that's great for now, but it's not sustainable and it's not healthy long term. Like that would be repetitively in the comments, like, what are you thinking, right? And I was just like, I think I need to raise my hand here and step up to the plate. So yeah, I just kind of randomly made an Instagram account called Carnivore Doctor because I'm an optometric physician, an eye doctor, and I thought, well, let's just get a separate account here and just start talking about it. And it grew and grew because people were really curious about somebody who had been doing this longer term. And so yeah, that's how that grew, and it all really grew out of my diligent search. I mean, I suffered really my most of my life with disordered relationship with food and binge eating disorder, and it's, the whole secretive eating and hiding the wrappers and waiting till everybody's not there, and that kind of behavior is not sober behavior. But it was very difficult to get out of it. And it wasn't until I found this little tiny forum, because this is way before YouTube and Instagram and Facebook exploding, right? And so there was this little forum, a group of people that had been kicked off of a low carb forum, and because they were doing zero carb. And it was just, Emily, it was life-changing because I was just riveted reading people's journals and, people resolving themselves of depression and anxiety and bipolar and arthritis and diabetes. And then there was a couple women in there in their journal were writing about it, resolving their eating disorder. And I said, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Let me pay attention here. This sounds crazy. These people are eating meat and drinking water. Okay, I'm all in. I am all in because what's a girl to do who's been searching for so long to figure out a way out of the misery, but just jump in? And yeah, it was the best thing that ever happened in my life to understand that, the this way of eating is not only going to resolve my issue, but it's actually healthy. So yeah, then I just I wanted to tell the world at that point.
Well, and I don't say this lightly, and this is a hill I'm willing to die on, but I believe that you are the most available and generous with your time doctor that I have ever met in my life. And
Yeah.
in the carnivore community, you over deliver and over give to all of us. Like you're accessible through Alive, you're accessible through your YouTube, through everything, and meetups. Like you
Yeah,
are the
I'm the
original.
queen of meetups, right?
You're the
Well,
original.
Emily, this thank you. I appreciate your perception of me because that's what I feel I exude is I I want to be there for people. I feel like if I can help one person out of the hellhole I was in, all of this time and effort is worth it. And so I go right now. I've been doing it for over a year, but I go live every week on YouTube just to kind of gather with a group of people who kind of hang out with me and ask questions. And then I do have a member group, and I go live with them 3 or 4 times a week. And yeah, yep, that's my carb sober community there. And yeah, because I just want to help with the knowledge that I've gained through so long of doing this. And I feel like the credibility I have for being a medical professional. Now, of course, I get uh, uh, people who the naysayers that say, but you're an eye doctor. What do you know about nutrition and, all this? And I said, I all I can say to that is just keep digging, dig for the truth, and anybody can dig for the truth. You don't have to have letters after your name. All you have to do is have really the desire to get healthy, and then the desire to help people because your story, every single one of you out there watching this, is going to have your own personal healing journey, transformative journey, whatever it is. And it's just a beautiful thing to be able to share it with others. And yeah, and I'm also I feel that I don't want to be somebody. Unfortunately, I don't do this as my financial steady income thing. I don't have to do this at all. I am still an eye doctor, but actually part-time because I'm 60 and I feel like I am sort of part-time retired. And I really do this just out of a true passion to see, who I can help. And yeah, that's where this all came about is just it actually it I believe does more for me than it does for the people out there who I'm helping because it's really such a personal kind of mission that I just feel like the more I share and the more time and effort I give into it, the more I get back. So I guess that does sound kind of greedy, but so be it.
Well, it's so true. And I did have some preconceived notions of you before I met you, that you were just genuine, that you just really did this because you cared. But I had that confirmed whenever I met you at Meatstock this year. And there was, what, 50 people having dinner out on the lawn, and you spotted me in the crowd. You literally got up out of your chair, walked through like 4 rows of people just to come and hug me. And I was just like, she's real. Like, she really, like, you could have just been like, yeah, hi, see you later, whatever. But like, you beeline for me. And that like lit me up. And I was like, I was right. I was right. She really is doing this for the greater good of humanity. And I want to show people real quick because I mean, if we're really talking about like, money and making money on this stuff, look at what you give away for free. Like these videos and these interview or these
Yeah,
like
if you click on the live tab, that's where all of my and Emily, this is what ended up happening for me. I'm a one-man show. I have no editors, I have no nothing. So I started doing my videos live so that when I click end, it goes up as a video and it's there and done. And that's the way I've been getting things done. But yeah, those carb sober Sundays are the ones that I do every Sunday morning, 9 Eastern. And then some of them I have a specific topic. That's why it's all mixed in there. But yeah, I'm just hopeful that I can continue to spread the word, That's what this is all about.
absolutely, absolutely. And so I love this and I love the
And if
accessibility.
you hit the popular on that right down,
Oh, I
down,
see.
yeah, hit that. And then so, oh gosh, I was thinking, oh, you know what? Sorry, go back to live
Yeah.
and then hit popular.
Oh,
And
got
then
it.
yeah, because so my two most popular videos there are about macular degeneration. And so that's one of my passions because obviously being an eye doctor, but also understanding that diet has a lot to do with, our with the health of every system in our body. And so many people come to me and ask about, different visual and ocular health issues, and macular degeneration is so prominent. And yeah, I'm working on another macular degeneration video because over the past, I'd say 2 years so both of those, that was 1 year ago and 2 years ago, but I've come to actually dig really deep and come to the understanding that equally important as food is for disease is that we follow our circadian rhythm and pay attention to light, especially with our eyes, that we want natural sunlight, moonlight, firelight in our eyes, and we don't want unnatural light sources, which is basically LED bulbs, fluorescent bulbs, um, TV screens, computer screens, phone screens, all of that is, and I'm so positive of it. I'll tell you, I am very diligent about, and everybody should start looking into this, but wearing these amber glasses, because we want to block the unnatural. So we call it blue light, and everybody's like, "What's blue light?" It's not blue. No, it's not blue, but it is at the blue end of the spectrum, and it is spiked in isolation, and it is missing the red and the amber, the warm tones of the rest of our natural, sunlight spectrum. And it is very unnatural and very detrimental, both mentally, for our brain, for our skin, for our eyes. Our eyes are not just for vision. And this is like shocking to me as an eye doctor that I go through 4 years of school after college and a residency. Nowhere is mentioned one little speck, one little iota. I love that word, iota.
Iota.
Little iota mention of the light that we should be getting in our eyes, which is the sunlight. Don't fear it and don't keep your sunglasses on. I'm probably one of a very rare few of eye doctors that tells you that for the most part, the sunglasses should be off, except for very extreme situations when you're on a field of snow and the sun's reflecting water or sand for many hours. Other than that, the sunglasses should be off. And although you can wear them in your car because the windshield's blocking the beneficial light rays anyway. But what I do, no sunglasses in the car. I put the sunroof open. I even crack the side windows, depending on if it's really hot, really cold. It's only a crack, but let the light in. And yeah, I know I go off on all these tangents, but I'm
No,
gonna,
but I think that's really important that there is more to this conversation. That,
yeah.
once somebody does get that healing with carnivore,
You
there's
keep
more.
digging. You got to keep digging. We got to get rid of the plastics and use the glass. We got to get rid of the toxic makeup. I have a whole video on my YouTube channel about that. Get rid of the fragrances, the perfumes, the candles. Oh my gosh, don't we all love the clean linen candle, that right stuff? But all of that we realize is endocrine disrupting. And then I just got really, well, partly a little bit angry that all this stuff is hidden from us, and really voracious about figuring out what else they've lied to me about, figure out what other truths I really need to find. And so, what I was getting at as far as the eyes and that iota word is, there was no mention of this whole light thing and all this artificial toxic light. And it's uh, and I was not taught that there are special receptors on the eye that have nothing to do with vision. We think, we got eyes, eyeballs, right? We see, it's for vision. I look, I see, eyes are for vision, right? Well, there is a really important other component of our what our eyes do. There's neuropsin, there's different receptors in and on the eye that have nothing to do with vision, but they have all to do with receiving the light signal. And that's why we want to get outside in sunrise because we want that early morning Well, you want sunrise light, and then also about an hour after sunrise is the UVA. That's really important. So do it like it's your job. Get out there every day, expose, because these receptors are signaling to the pineal gland in the brain, to the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's signaling a lot of different things that we have to really pay attention to the fact that we spend 90 I'd say about, they say 92 to 95% of our day inside, right? We live in a house, we live in the house box, we get in the car box, we drive to the work box, back in the car box, maybe to the store box, back to the home box. And it's so not natural to us as animals on Earth. We should be spending time out in nature, and then we could get into the whole grounding thing. I go when I go out for my walks each day. Um, it's not in bare feet because that would be ideal for grounding. Sometimes it is because I live on the beach and I'll walk on the beach. But if I am just cranking down, to the boardwalk, I will spot a tree, go lean against it. Just get your bare skin, your hands. It doesn't have to be bare feet, but I know sometimes this sounds really woo-woo to people, and even this seems pretty strange, but you should come to my house at night because Lisa doesn't put a single light on. Once it starts getting dark, it just starts getting dark in my place. And I might have I have some amber lights and I have some motion sensor rechargeable little square red lights so that when I walk by in the bathroom or the kitchen, I can still see, but I pretty much shut it down because that unnatural light does not belong in our eyes. And I know this whole thing seems really strange, but light some candles. And if you have to be, this is my work. I'm on my see my my
I
phone.
love it.
I'm on my phone, right? And sometimes it has to be after sunset. So I just make sure that I'm blocking the detrimental spike of blue light. So there I go, Emily, off on another big tangent, but
I love it. Okay, well,
I'm
I want to.
excited about all this stuff because I want people to understand. And then you could say, well, am I the be all end all of knowledge about this and what I'm saying is right? I'm telling you, I have dug deep into some really um, knowledgeable people that spend their life studying this kind of light circadian rhythm and our circadian rhythm disruption that we as modern humans really have because of all of our conveniences and what we do. We spend a lot of time, and this thing can be bing bing bing, can be a little bit of an addiction when you're looking at things like TikTok and Instagram. And I'm quick to say though, oh gosh, as much as you could demonize that as an addiction and also as blue light toxicity, it's also my pathway to the truth because without the internet, but you got to dig deep because of course there's a lot of information well, of course, because if you type in, let's say you want to Google, are sunglasses important to protect my eyes? Everything's going to say, yes, protect your eyes, wear them at all times when you're out in the sun. And so it's really kind of funny that I'm saying like it's such a tool to finding the truth, but you kind of have to know where to look, hook into somebody who you trust their research skills. Hopefully, I might be one of them because trust me, I go deep and I'm also looking for misinformation, and I'm also very open-minded. I'm not dogmatic about carnivore, whether you're ketovorish, carnivorish. I fully discuss that I will eat some avocado when it's, at a restaurant. I will eat some pickle, and I'm expanding, like the ferments, or, I look into that, the sauerkraut and kimchi and all that, right? I'm not dogmatic, like you got to eat, lion diet or else. I think it's extremely beneficial to use as a tool and to learn about yourself, especially if you have a significant health issue to heal, whether it be mental or physical. And once you get through that, then it's a little bit of a process figuring out what you include in your food plan. And of course, I always say make sure you have sober behavior with it because I could say nuts. Let's just take nuts for an example. It's a very popular keto food. I personally will say macadamia nuts are probably the only really beneficial of the nuts because of their fat profile. And there's actually inflammatory omega 6s and a blah, blah, blah. But in any case, I will say for me, I don't have sober behavior with a bowl of macadamia nuts. Okay, there's no such thing as eating five out of that bowl. It's five handfuls, and if there's still a couple left, it goes with the other hand. So it's everybody's a little different because obviously there's people who say, "Oh, I could take it or leave it with nuts." Same thing with cheese. Even though cheese is an animal food, I don't have sober behavior around cheese, Emily,
Me
because
neither.
I like to melt it and fry it and make chips out of it, you name it, I do it, and I can't stop eating it. No such thing as a ball of fresh mozzarella being safe around me. Because the ends are the best part with the little crinkle from the package, and then you just keep going because if you don't, it calls your name. So I'm just throwing out there that your food plan is going to evolve and don't feel like it has to. Now, if Lion Diet's working great for you and you love it and you keep doing it, awesome, all the more to you. But there's a lot to be said for having a little variation too and having a food plan that you really enjoy that you can stick to.
Absolutely. I think that's so important. And I love the way that you use the term sober because, people talk about, uh, addiction to alcohol or drugs or anything. And then whenever I say sober with food, they're like, what? No, like you can't say that. But you have these carb sober life cruises.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, so I have carbsober.com is a new website in the works that I'm shifting over to. And I hosted what I called a carb sober cruise last February, and I had 150 people join me. And it was just amazing. And it wasn't about being the carb police. It was just gathering together with like-minded people. And it didn't matter what you did or did not include in your food plan, but what I did is I had meetings with food officers on the ship to make sure the bacon was not deep fried in seed oil, which it is on Norwegian Cruise Line. It is not on Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. So I'm really learning about a lot of different things. But the staff was amazing. They'd come over to me and show me what because we had 15 tables of 10 all dining together. And they said, because they made sure there was no seed oils in the sauces for us and how they were going to prepare what they were about to eat and like what we had to choose from. So yeah, it's been great. And then of course, I'm really big on the sun and making sure that we understand that it's so important to be in the sunshine. Yeah, so here I wrote, we will make lots of vitamin D together in the sunny Caribbean. So yeah, I have a Cancun meetup coming in an all-inclusive resort because what better place than on a cruise ship or an all-inclusive resort where you can get unlimited meat, seafood, eggs, cheese, cheese. Yes, I allow myself cheese on a trip. But yeah, so that's a list of my upcoming cruises. September is the start of it. I have a 5 day and an 8 day out of New York City. And then right after Hack Your Health, I have so far 50 people booked on that cruise. It's a little 5 day out of Tampa. And it's as low as $85 a night. And that's your cabin, entertainment, and unlimited meat, seafood, eggs, and cheese. So I go, man, for $85 a night, that's like you can't beat it, right? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And then so yeah, I have a few others listed there. And yeah, it's kind of become my new passion because it combines the sunshine with the hopefully trying to make sure we get healthy food because it's not always easy when you eat out. I think people realize that the use of seed oils is rampant in restaurants. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I recognize that this is very important to have these meetups. And I wanted to, oh gosh, I didn't even pull it up. Here, let me pull it up. Meat stock. Oops. You are going to be at Meatstock 2026 as
yes,
well.
yeah,
And we have you right here, front and
yep,
center.
yep,
Dr.
yeah,
Lisa Wiedeman.
yeah.
And so you are the queen of meetups. So what is it like for you going to Meatstock?
Yeah, so Meatstock is just like it's like a meetup on steroids because it's just a amazing collection of so many passionate people in this space that are coming to share their knowledge and uh, gather people, like-minded people. And I'll tell you, the very first meetup, and this is why I started kind of going a little crazy with the meetups, is back 16 years ago. We met at a restaurant. It was Charles Washington who organized this lunch, and I drove an hour, a little over an hour to Philadelphia, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really weird. I'm going to meet internet people, internet friends. But I was like, you know what? I was just driven. I just knew that was the right thing to do. And it was 20 people. And we ate at one of those Brazilian churrascarias. You know, the gauchos come around and slice the meat off, unlimited, right? And we were just so um, immersed in each other's stories of healing and change. And it was just so empowering. I walked away from that. It was magical. And I just said, man, this is the way forward is gathering together. So I've just made it my mission, just wherever I travel. Like I would just went out to California for the animal documentary red carpet premiere event. And so I was out in LA and I said, huh, I have a friend in Palm Springs. Let me go to Palm Springs. It's right there. And I'm going to host a meetup. So we had 30 people. Like I announced it, and local people drove in from San Diego, LA, and Vegas. And it's just so great. I love watching people experience the meetup. And then, they get little swag gifts from me. And again, it's just an empowering thing. So I think I've hosted or attended 37 meetups at this point. So yeah, it's just been a great road. But Meatstock is like, like I said, it's like a meetup on steroids. It's just so cool. And the whole, thing about getting to stay in cabins and kind of just really immerse yourself in just sharing knowledge. And it's a major meetup. These retreats, they're pretty involved to plan. And actually, so Scott has a meetup, well, a retreat during Hack Your Health that I'll be at with Dr. Kiltz and Bella and I think Maria Emmerich. And then in October, if anybody's wanting to travel to Canada or in Canada, but Mont Tremblant, I've never been there. Can't wait to go. Beautiful cabin in October, so hopefully leaves changing color and all that. So that's a very intimate retreat. There's only, I think, 14 guests allowed, along with me and Dr. Kiltz and Bella and Maria Emmerich. So that will be really special. And then, of course, next year's Meatstock, I'm sure is going to be sold out pretty soon. So,
Yeah, because the 2024 I was there and it was like 30 or 40 people at a time. This year it was 300 plus people. Next year our capacity is 1,500. And
wow.
so like it's just like on steroids. It's just going so big.
So great. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your time every day that you give us. I've seen you in the comments answering questions, and you just are always there to give. So, thank you for what you do for our community, and I am so excited to watch you just continue to grow and to help others.
Oh, thanks so much, Emily. It's been a pleasure. And I'm so happy that you're in this space with us all and doing what you do because this isn't easy trying to organize us and get the time and get us all in on these interviews. And yeah, so kudos to you. You're doing a really special, special job here.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful and honored. And we're just going to keep spreading this message for the next 80 years.
Awesome.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.